with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
At the end of a timeline that consists of 2,400 years in the world of Veles. This is based in one of the five kingdoms, Lirinor, and it is now currently 100 years after the king died. He was poisoned by his brother, who had ambitions for the throne, as he went to go battle a fire-breathing dragon. As he was poisoned, he was weak and couldn't battle the dragon, and therefore died in the flames in the mountains of Lirinor. When the king's brother tried to seize the throne, however, he was rejected by a powerful magic that was installed upon it years before. That magic rejected the king's brother and put the kingdom into disarray, as there was no new king to take that place. When the king's brother was rejected and in exile, he decided to seize control over the regions of Lirinor. He did so with the use of powerful magical stones. He used those stones to control the regions, and evil spread down from the mountains as there was no one in place to protect the land. The heroes are descendants of the old Queen's Guard. They hold powerful magical shards of a crystal, of a medallion that was in control by the queen. She broke this medallion to pass it on to her guard to protect the throne from the evil king's brother, who now seeks those medallion pieces, as it's the only power that can bypass the throne's power that is keeping him from taking the throne. And so it is now the objective of the heroes to collect those magical region stones so that they can become the new ruler of Lirinor. But at the same time, the king's brother, Saladar, needs those magical medallion shards, reconnect them, and then go into the castle to bypass the magic of the throne so that he can become the ruler of Lirinor. Everyone's going to be chasing something for themselves, and so you're all going to have to battle your way through to become the new ruler of Lirinor.
Does that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me neither, but that's a story of Dead Throne, open world board game with mechanical market, a new game on Kickstarter, and tonight we're lucky enough to have one of the three creators and masterminds behind the creation of it, Shayan. Thank you very much for joining us on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. We really appreciate it, Shayan. Is that how you fit into the whole Dead Throne?
Yeah, so I'm one of the lead creators behind Dead Throne. We've been working on it for quite a while now, and it's finally on Kickstarter.
Cool, awesome. So let's rewind a little bit if we could. We don't have to go back too far unless, of course, you were born into tabletop board gaming, but how did you get into board games, Shayan?
As a kid, you get introduced to it by your parents, and then you sort of evolve from there. The whole story behind Dead Throne, however, didn't start off as a board game. It started off as a story, as like a book. But then we sort of divulged and we were like, well, this is actually quite good. We can make something out of it. So we started experimenting with different mechanics, and eventually Dead Throne was born.
Cool. So it started off as a book, you say?
Yeah, we were going to make a little story and see how far that goes. But then we decided we can have some fun with this. So we made a game out of it.
Might as well. So you just been playing board games ever since your parents introduced you then?
Pretty much, yeah. We experimented here and there, trying different things out.
Cool. So besides Dead Throne, because if I let you pick your own game, my audience will drag me out into the street and have me hung. Do you have a favorite game besides Dead Throne currently?
It's quite a few, but it's probably the favorite one, just because it's the one I played mostly with my family, would be Carcassonne.
Carcassonne, cool. Cool beans. Yeah, that's one of the gateway games. It seems like a lot of people have played that. Not myself. I kind of fell in love with board gaming after playing with Blood Rage with my son.
Right.
So it was going to be a book. Any further development with that, or you just went straight to the board game?
Well, we created another game. We called it Escape. That was like an original name. But after experimenting with that, we figured we could expand on the story, we can expand on everything, and we just decided to lead into what became Dead Throne.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the word on the street is you guys have a new game on Kickstarter called Dead Throne. What can you tell us about it, Cheyenne?
Dead Throne is a large open world adventure game. We've got competitive solo and co-op modes that you can play with. The whole map is modular. It's got 10 double-sided hexagonal boards, and you can set it up however you want to. Every game is completely different, and you can explore it however you wish. We wanted the game to be as realistic as possible. So we didn't want to have conflicting rules. We wanted everything to be logical and smooth. As soon as you play the game once, you're pretty much set to continue playing, and every game is very different. There's a lot of replayability in there. There's also a lot of forced PvP, so player versus player, you're going to be constantly trying to track down and fight other players, so you're forced into those interactions, which makes it very exciting.
Okay, so it's not a cooperative game, it's more of a player versus player?
Yeah, so there are 3 modes. One of them is competitive, player versus player. If you choose to play the solo, then you're just going to choose one of the heroes and you're going to run around and do your own thing. There are 4 ways of winning in the solo version. There are 3 ways of winning in the competitive version. And in the co-op, it's fully co-op. It's between 2 and 4 players, and you can you have to defend Lirinor from the dragon. And there are a few ways you can do that as well. Also within the game, you've got traps, which in the competitive version you can use against other players. You can lay them down in secret. No one knows where they are. You've also got a lot of magic to use. These magic you can use in battles against other players. However you're going to use it, you can use it against creatures. You can use it to manipulate the map, to travel around the map, teleport. You can even twist the board tiles around, so the map will change as you're playing the game. There's a lot you can do with that magic. It's always every turn you play can be very different from the last.
It sounds like it. So, what kind of mechanics do you use? Is it kind of like a dungeon crawl, or what exactly is it like?
Well, we wanted to keep it open world, and within that open world setting, there needed some form of a management for moving around. So when it's your turn, you can simply choose what direction you want to go into. If you even want to go somewhere, you can stay on the same spot if you want to. But if you go in a specific direction, then you roll 2 dice, and you move up to that number. So that, for example, I roll a double 6. I don't have to go to 12. I can go to 8 or 10 or whatever I choose to. You can stop wherever you want to. If there's if there's a building in front of you and you want to go in that building to explore it, then you can go into that building. If you've got a quest to complete, because we have side quests in the game, then you can go in whatever direction you need to for that quest. So it's entirely up to you. You've also got magic, as I said, to move around the world, and you've got stable or carriage men outside of town, so you can transport between towns. We also implemented something called the 4+ rule. So if you are in the competitive version, if there are 4 or more players in the game and there's a battle going on between 2 players, then those 2 players will stay in their sort of bubble. So the other players sort of ignore their role, they ignore their turn, so that those players can then focus on that battle uninterrupted without having to wait for other players to finish their turn. And the people outside of the battle also don't have to wait. They can continue playing as they would normally, uninterrupted. The same applies for people who are in the market. So you can take your time buying items, selling items, moving things around in your inventory, and basically just not having to rush, or other players not having to wait. We wanted to incorporate that.
Sounds like it might help me save a few friendships as I suffer from analysis paralysis.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get rid of it.
There you go. That's good. So that was something they got rid of. Besides that, has there ever been anything else besides that you had to scrap during playtesting that just wouldn't work?
Trying to think back, we've had quite a few little rules that were sort of exceptions. We didn't want to have multiple rules where you would just have to flick through the rule book and be like, oh, that's an exception to this rule, that's an exception to that rule. They're like little minor things. We had, I remember a period when we were trying to create a means of hiring your own mercenaries. But that was conflicting with a few different things and a different other rules. It got a bit too complicated. We wanted to maintain that smooth and simple gameplay so that any level of experience can play the game. And so hiring mercenaries was one of them. We wanted to create the ability to build forts, but that didn't play into the gameplay either. So there's a few little things here and there that we had to scrap. But with that 4+ rule, we decided, because of the way we wanted to get rid of waiting, basically, and so that's what we got rid of. That's why we implemented the 4+ rule.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So what would you say the thing you're most proud of about Dead Throne would be? What are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of the replayability that we managed to maintain. Every game is different. This is a core feature from the beginning that we wanted to maintain. We wanted every game to be very different and smooth and simple. And through the use of playtesting and removing a few features, adding a few more features, we've been able to maintain very smooth gameplay and every game to be very different from the last. I think that's what I'm most happy about.
Well, that's pretty cool. So per se, me and you or anybody was to sit down and play Dead Throne, how would that look? I mean, how would it sound? This is a podcast after all.
Right, understood. So the first thing you got to do is set up the box, right? And within Dead Throne, we've got something called the mechanical market. It's held within the lid. It's a 5-piece system. It's already assembled by the manufacturer, so all you have to do is prop it up. And what you do is you put the lid back up against the base of the box, so it's vertical, so it's standing up. And then you slide 2 levers down, and you've got access to the market. Each market category card has its own little pocket where the cards go into, and the lever locks them in place when you're not playing, so they don't fall out. And you simply open it up to play the game. Then you obviously set up the map, so that's 10 modular tiles. You put them however you want to, and then the region cards you prop up in front of the deck so that they're not all over the table. And they're right in front of you. They've got their own spot. You can see where it is. And we've also got player trays. So these are things that organize your cards, organize your inventories. Every card in your inventory, like your weapon, your shield, a special item, your armor cards, they all have their own little slot. You put them in there and you build your character up over time, making it more and more powerful. And this card tray manages to organize all your cards so you can visualize what you have. It really looks like you're actually equipping things to yourself. When you've got everything set up, and again, we wanted it to be quick and simple. So this whole setup and pack away time takes about 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. It's pretty smooth, pretty sleek. You can set it up really quickly. So as soon as you've set it up, then you pick your character card, or whoever you want to be, because everybody has their own different skill set or starting abilities or starting equipment. So you pick your character, and then as heroes, you start off in the towns, and as Saladar, the mage, and someone always has to be Saladar in the competitive version. He would start off at his region stones, and he has to activate, as in place on the map, a minimum of 1 region stone. As soon as everybody's in place, then you simply decide who goes first. You roll and you explore the land. And it's entirely up to you what strategy you implement. There's a lot you can do in Dead Throne, entirely open world, and there's a lot we can expand upon as well because we've maintained that open world theme. So there's a lot we can add to it. We're looking forward to that.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, is there miniatures involved in this game?
Yeah, so we each character, it's 1 to 7 players. So there are 7 characters in the game, and each one has its own miniature. Currently, we're just off, just like 1% off, unlocking the miniatures as a stretch goal. And later on down in the campaign, we've got a dragon as well, as a miniature, and a further 6 heroes to add as miniatures as well. So later down in the campaign, if we unlock those stretch goals, there'll be plenty of miniatures to use.
Yeah, you can't complain about a dragon. That's awesome. And it looks like that it's doing pretty good. Like, what are you, almost 200% funded within a couple days, it looks like? 3 or 4 days?
Yeah, so we're above 200% now. We're on 650 backers, and it's only been a week, so we're very excited. We funded in 28 hours, and it's just been steady progress since then. It's been going really well.
Well, there you go. That's not too shabby. So how did you go about doing that? Did you have do you have previewers and reviewers taking a look at it and showing others? Because I know you're probably a little bit biased. So do you have any previewers that kind of showcased your game for other people?
Yeah, so we sent the game, we sent our prototype game off to the United States, and a man named Magawa, he does the Magawa review show on YouTube. He managed to playtest it, and he created a 45-minute video where he was just showing off the game, the features, the gameplay, the mechanics, and he really loved it as well, and we were very excited about that. It's very well done.
Cool. And it looks like maybe Dead Throne reviews as well, and maybe a couple others maybe.
So we've got, in order to understand the gameplay, we created a load of our own videos, broken down into each section, depending on what gameplay we're trying to, or what mechanic we're trying to show off. We've also got a few articles that people have written for us, that you can see on our campaign page. And then as soon as we go into production, we're going to be sending off the finished version of the game to a load of different independent reviewers around the world. So a lot of review videos will be popping up, and we'll be sharing them.
So does that mean you're going to go to retail afterwards? Is that the plan?
Yeah, we've got a few retailers lined up, and when we produce the game, we're going to be working with a few others around the world so that we can get our Dead Throne onto the shelves. We've got a few retail packages as well, rewards on the Dead Throne campaign page, and some of them have been selected already, so we're happy about that.
Cool. And it looks like you might be going for, depending on how far up we can get, it looks like they're going for different translations. If anybody's listening in other languages or whatnot, what kind of translation are you going for, and what's behind doing that?
In order to get into the translations, as you said, it's we need to unlock a stretch goal, and we've currently on the campaign page, if you go and see it, we've got languages like Spanish, German, Italian, French, and if we don't that, in order to if we unlock those stretch goals, then we're going to be translating the rulebook and the physical game itself, the cards as well, and we'll be creating language specific boxes to ship out to our backers around the world and to retailers around the world. If, however, we don't meet those stretch goals, then we're going to be creating a digitally downloadable rulebook, which will be translated, which you can go onto our website and download for free as well.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And yeah, looking at that, what is that? The mechanical market, that looks like pretty cool. Just barely saw that on your Kickstarter page, a little GIF or video of them playing it. That looks kind of cool. What can you tell us about that?
Well, from the beginning, we wanted the box to be incorporated as a mechanic. We didn't want to just throw it away. And this goes back to our early days. Our first version of the game, which we called Escape, was the lid was the map that you play on. But we had to scrap that idea because it didn't work very well. But with Dead Throne, we wanted everything to be organized from straight up. So everything within the box allows you to quickly manage everything that's going on. Everything's got its own place, everything's organized, and that allows for a quick setup and pack away time. And with the market, because we have multiple markets cards in different categories like swords and armor and ropes and hammers and spears and all these different kind of things you can find in a market, we needed a place in the box that they are permanently set, so you don't have one deck that you have to flick through all the time. everything is set within the market. So everything has its own slot and its own category, and the market itself is held within the lid. And all you do, as soon as you set up the game, you prop it up behind the base, you slide 2 levers down, which unlock the market. And when you have access to the market, you can simply pick your cards out from every category and put them back. And it makes it so simple. It makes the gameplay so smooth and quick. You don't have to think about where things go, or having to put things, or having to shuffle through a deck to try and look through cards. Everything is right in front of you. You can access it as you were if you're going into a shop. And that's what we wanted to get from the feeling.
Well, most definitely. And yeah, just looking at it, like I said, I just saw the Jiff on there and it looks pretty amazing. Have you seen that anywhere else, or is this a brand new thing?
No, we actually looked around to see if there was something similar like that, but as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen any board games that utilize the lid in any way at all, let alone using a mechanical market.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. And yeah, so even if you can't afford the game or whatnot, but it doesn't look like it's too much. What does that go for? What can somebody walk away with this game for?
We had a bunch of early birds which are sold out now, but if you go onto the campaign, you can find Dead Throne for £90, which is the equivalent of about $125, and that includes all unlockable stretch goals, the card trays, the miniatures, and card stands, and anything else that we unlock further down the line.
Yeah, just looking at it, it looks like it's well worth the money. So that's awesome. So that's really cool.
Thank you.
So I know you want to overpromise and underdeliver, but so if somebody takes a chance on this, when would they anticipate getting their product?
Well, on the campaign page, we've set January of next year to be a good delivery point. That also obviously includes a few buffers just in case. But because of the early funding, we've managed to start already on a lot of the pre-production. So hopefully we can deliver a lot earlier than that.
Well, that'd be awesome. How cool. Now, per se, somebody's fallen asleep. It wouldn't be because of you or your game, especially with these great mechanics and whatnot. It'd probably be because of me and my podcast at the time of this recording a couple days earlier. And we're only like just barely halfway through March. I'd already released 41 episodes in this calendar year. And so they get a little tired of me droning on and on. But they're suddenly jolted awake so they don't hit the oncoming traffic. Why should they take a chance on Dead Throne, Cheyenne, especially with all the other great games they currently have out there on the Kickstarters?
Because you haven't seen Dead Throne before. Dead Throne is a game that incorporates the best of everything that we could gather into one easy and balanced game. We've got mechanics and features like the market, like the card trays in the box. And when it comes to gameplay, we've got an open world setting. We've got competitive modes to play, solo and cooperative modes. Every game is different. There's a vast world to explore. This is only the beginning of our games for the world of Veles. So there'll be more games to come. And Dead Throne just stands out as a unique and well-balanced game that you can constantly play and is good for all levels of experience, all the family, anybody can play it, and you won't want to put it down because every time you come back to it is an entirely different game.
And it sounds like if you suffer from analysis paralysis like me, your friends won't go away hating you. So that's awesome as well, Cheyenne.
We're happy to incorporate that, yeah.
There you go, for sure. Now, I don't know if you've listened to any of our other podcasts previously, Cheyenne, but the next section of our podcast is called Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we talk about an app, be it for your cell phone, your tablet, your computer, or even a video game. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be related to board games or awesome mechanics. It could just be an app you use. Is there an app you use a lot of what we can talk about for a moment, Cheyenne?
Yeah, well, I use quite a lot of Affinity Photo. It's if you're unfamiliar with it, it's kind of like the Photoshop 2.0 from an independent company. But instead of having to pay a subscription fee like you do in Photoshop, it's a one-time fee and you can use it commercially however you like. I use it a lot because of developing the game, and anything else I do, it's a great photo editing software that you can use, similar to Photoshop, as I said, has all the tools there. It's powerful, it's sleek, it's beautiful. And so that is probably the application I open the most because of the game especially, but also just having fun with photos.
Cool. And this is something you use for your computer, I imagine?
Yeah, well, it has a tablet version as well. So I have an iPad and I also have a Mac, and I use it for both of them. And it's as powerful as it is on both of them.
Well, there you go. And you said it's not subscription based like Photoshop, but you said there is a cost. What does that run currently? Do you know?
Well, I got it a while ago. As far as I remember, it was about £40, which is about $55.
Cool, cool. And if you own, and what was the name of it again? You said
Affinity Photo.
Affinity Photo. So, Cheyenne, if you own the rights to Affinity Photo, what would be one thing you would do to fix it or make it better?
I think it is slightly limited as far as brushes is concerned, but I think that's mostly because it's such a new application, whereas Photoshop has years of experience with it and loads of people have created their own brushes. So in terms of its library of extra brushes that you can add to it, Affinity Photo is slightly limited. But yeah, I think that would be the one thing I would add. But I do see that updating as time goes on, as more and more people start using it and more people start adding brushes of their own to it.
And so if we try to make a green podcast around here, so if the creators of Affinity Photo are ever listening, and hopefully they will one day, you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, what Cheyenne would do to make this a better application. Now, Cheyenne, are you guys going to be on any other podcasts, or can I say you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief?
No, this is definitely the first one. We're not sure what we have lined up in the future yet, but yeah, you heard it first on this.
Well, I better hurry and get this uploaded before you have any other podcast or whatnot. Now, Mina's coming over there to the UK. It sounds like you might be from the UK. Mina's coming over there to stalk you personally that way. How would people go about finding out about you or your crew or Dead Throne or stuff you have going on in the future?
We are going to, any updates to Dead Throne especially, but also future games, we will be updating our backers on the campaign. That's regardless of what you've backed, however much you've pledged. We've also got a Facebook page and a Twitter page, which you can find the links to on our campaign page. You can also go onto our website, www.deadthrone.co.uk. And on there, you'll be able to find all our contact details. There's also a subscription, an email subscription where you can add your email for future updates as well.
Okay, and if you get us the links, we'll make sure we leave all those in the show notes so they won't have to go ahead and type it in or whatnot. I know sometimes people can be lazy, and especially they can be lazy as the setup and the put away of this game is excellent from what it sounds like.
Yeah, we wanted you to be able to sit down at the table and just play. We didn't want to spend ages setting up and the complicated side of making sure everything is set up properly. We wanted it to just be smooth and simple.
Cool, that's awesome. Now, seeing how this is an exclusive on the podcast, at least right now, currently, I know you want to get through this Kickstarter or whatnot, but in the future, do you have other stuff planned? Maybe you could give us a little bit of dirt or stuff that's on the down low right now.
Yeah, for sure. So the next game we want to start developing is called Enchanters Caverns, and it's sort of an Escape 2.0, as in the game that preceded Dead Throne, just a bit more advanced. And on this Enchanters Caverns, it's set in a different time period within that whole world of Veles, the 2,400 years of history. And within this, you are in the time where the old enchanters have been exiled, and they're now hiding in the mountains, and they're mining for these magical crystals, which is the source of their power. And they have enslaved loads of people, loads of humans to mine these crystals for them. And in order for you to survive, you have to either escape their clutches through a 2-layered objective, or you can work your way to dominating the caverns themselves, or you can defeat all the enchanters and you can take over the caverns and the other players. And there are multiple ways of getting out. There are multiple ways of dominating. And this is, we're trying to work into it a mechanic where different things that you do. So option-based game, anything that you do has a ripple effect throughout the game. So your decisions affect the evolution of the game. And we've got a few ideas implemented into that already, as well as simple things like certain things that you do can cause collapses or floods, and you can, bit by bit, turn by turn, you can be forced to rush how you get out. Everybody will compete for that victory. Everybody will compete for that exit, as everybody is trying to escape the flood or the collapse or anything that's going on. So we have a lot in mind for that. It's at the moment it's in the early stages. So we're going to fine tune it and make it as well balanced and easy and simple for any level of experience, just like Dead Throne.
Cool, and we can go ahead and stay up to date with you by either back in Dead Throne, or you said we can sign up for an email on your email list?
Yeah, so there are a few ways, as I said. Yeah, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's email subscription. If you're on the campaign page, we'll be updating along there as well. So there are a few ways you can stay up to date.
Well, I thought with me and my wife we're going to be done backing Kickstarters for the year, but I'm going to have to go as immediately as after we're done talking. I'm going to have to go show her this campaign because that looks just awesome. And so hopefully the fans will go ahead and check it out as well. If you're listening and you like what you heard, we'd love to get reviews over on the iTunes. That helps other people find out about us. And you can always find us over at Facebook, Getting Geeky with Game Relief, or our website as well, which is www.gamereliefgo.com, kind of like Pokemon Go, but gamereliefgo.com. Now, we don't want to keep you all night, Cheyenne, or well, I guess all day, as you're in a completely different time zone, but we really wanted to thank you for coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, waking up early and everything so we could do this.
That's no problem. My pleasure. It's happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
It's time for Kickstarter Corner. To begin now.
You heard her right, folks. Kickstarter Corner coming at to you now. We've got some beauties on the Kickstarter today. First off, let me go ahead and open them up, shall I? Why don't I ever open them up before I come on Kickstarter Corner? That's a good question. If you ever come up with the answer, go ahead and make sure you make me awares. Anyways, while we're waiting for me to open these up, what have you all been up to? Anything good going on in the gaming world? Make sure you go ahead and let us know. Send us an email at gamerelief@gamereliefgo.com, or just go ahead and send us a message via Messenger. We always love to get messages, and you can tell us what's going on in the world of gaming according to you, the fan. So that'd be pretty cool. We had some great interviews that will be coming to you in the next few days, so that's kind of exciting. But yeah, lots of games dropping on the Kickstarters, so let's go ahead and get on with it, shall we? First off, yes, let's get on with it. You're right, and I'm right, and everybody's right. So, you've waited long enough? Let's have you at it. Or let's let you have it. Whatever you want to look at it. So, first off, we've got the Entrepreneur game by EE Speaks. A fun, educational, interactive game everyone can play. Build businesses, grow your income, assets, all while avoiding bankruptcy. They have about 24 days to go. They go through the 14th of April. Make sure you check that one out on the Kickstarters. Then, this one just barely launched. Cat Rescue, the game of saving cats. Cat Rescue is a 1 to 4 player cooperative game. Players work together to save cats and adopt them, just like in real life. This is brought to you by Tay T Woo, who was the one who did Kung Pao Chicken, which we reviewed. We'll also be reviewing Cat Rescue. We'll also have Tay T on the show coming up in the coming weeks. Then, we've got Fuel Priest, the Dieselpunk tabletop RPG. We will have the creator of one of the creators of this on the show as well. Fly airplanes and fight classicism in a Dieselpunk tabletop role-playing game with the Goddess of Progress, the Maiden of Oil. They've got about 18 days to go, going through the 8th of April, like I said, we'll have them on the show. Then we've got 5th edition Player Starter Kit, a Dungeon and Dragon starter kit to help brand new players get a taste of what it's like playing Dungeons and Dragons. Oh my, yes, this is a great thing, and it goes through the 12th of April. Check that one out on the Kickstarters. Once again, we'll leave links in the show notes for you, so don't forget about that. Then, this one's a beauty. Make sure you watch the video and check out the art for sure. Dragon Keepers by Vitel, Lacerda, and Catarina Lacerda. Hopefully I didn't slaughter that. But they've got about 500 backers. We're getting there. They need about a little bit less than 500 more to get their goal. If they're going the same way, if everybody funds the same way, or donates the same way, whatever you want to call it. But they got 19 days to go, going through the 9th of April. Definitely check that one out for sure with the beautiful art. And then, let's see here. Isn't this one about? Wait. Okay, I was about to tell you about the one we just interviewed, but you already know about that one because you heard the interview. Make sure you go check that out, Dead Throne as well. And then we've got True Messiah, a game of cult warfare. Dale meets Dune. Recruit zealous followers. Compete for surreal powers. Control the wasteland. 2 to 4 players. 60 to 120 minutes. But let's be true. 1 to 2 hours. They're about a third way to their goal, and they got 3 weeks to go. Make sure this is for 14 years old, so make sure you check that out. We'll have the creator of this on the show as well, and they go through the 11th of April. And then, if we can get the audio, we'll make sure we have this on, or you can just check out our Facebook Live video we did with Gerald from Spontaneous Combustible Games, where we interviewed him. But this is for Flip and Find's Diner. Flip and Find run a diner that is a complete chaos in the set collection memory game. Find the ingredients to fill orders and make tips. This one's great. He's on tour in the Midwest right now, so make sure you check out his Facebook page, Spontaneously Combustible Games. They're doing a lot of Facebook Lives. We'll hopefully be doing that soon enough. And then this one launched today, and they're a third of the way to their goal already. Still have about a little less than 3 weeks. I guess that's all they really had, but you'll be able to hear about this one. Hopefully we'll be able to tell you more different stuff. I will find out and get you all kinds of different stuff. This one will have the creator on the show pretty soon in the coming weeks as well. It's Railroad Rivals. Railroad Rivals is a fast-paced tile drafting game where you build a railroad empire and that stretches across America and across your table. I hope you're ready for the railroad coming to your living room. And then, last but not least, it doesn't look like they're going to get their goal, but they have some other stuff in the works, and we told you about their other game before, but Fridge Crisis Games, Swords and Souls. Earn your escape from the underworld by fighting your former friends in this fast-paced combat card game. Get ready to get aggressive. Check this one out on the Kickstarters. If we can help them fund, that would be awesome. They're ending the 22nd of March, so they don't got much time, but they still got to get a little bit more to go. So definitely. Well, there you have it. Lots and lots of great games that you can check out on Kickstarter. That's just a few amongst the 530 or 545 or how many ever there are. So yeah, definitely head on over to Kickstarter. You can click the links that we have in the show notes, and you can find all of these great games coming at you from Getting Geeky with Game Relief. And if you want to have your game mentioned on here, or if you want to have an interview, go ahead and send us a message via the Facebook Messenger. Is the best way to get a hold of us. But anyways, you got to get on with your life. We got to get on with ours. Like I said, we'll have a lot of episodes coming up in the coming days. But go ahead and get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into Geek Fold. And we will go ahead and, you guessed it, catch you on the flip side. Game Relief, out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.